Hey everyone, my name's Drew. I've been posting a lot of bread pictures lately on Facebook, and as a result, a lot of people have asked, hey, what is your recipe? Or, hey, how about you bring some over to my house? So instead of bringing it over to your house, I just thought maybe I'd show you. But first, I need to get ready. Alright, let's begin. This recipe is pretty simple. Let's start by pouring in 2 cups of warm water into a glass bowl. Next, stir and dissolve 1 tablespoon of white sugar, and then 1 tablespoon of instant dry yeast. Give it a gentle stir just to make sure that everything is completely dissolved. Let the yeast rest for about 10 minutes. It should start to resemble a soft foam. That looks good. Pour in 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and just gently stir it just to mix it up. We're done with the yeast for now. Let's put that to the side. In a large bowl, add 3 cups of all-purpose flour. There's 1, 2, and 3. Toss in 2 tablespoons of white sugar, and then 1 tablespoon of salt. Mix that well. You want to be sure that everything is blended. Grab your yeast and throw that in there too. Now it's time to get mixing. I'm going to use my stand mixer during this part. If you don't have a stand mixer, it's no big deal. Just use a wooden spoon and some good old-fashioned elbow grease, and you'll have the same exact result, sometimes even better. Mix it together until it's completely smooth, like what you see here. I'm going to switch out to use my dough hook. If you don't have a dough hook, again, just use that wooden spoon. During this next part, add 3 cups of flour, half a cup at a time, until it starts coming together to form a ball of dough. There we go. Let's test the dough. Give it a quick pinch and maybe a pull. It should be slightly elastic and somewhat tacky. That's how you know it's ready for the next stage. Sprinkle half a cup of flour onto your work surface. This is where we'll knead our dough. Go ahead and throw it right in the middle. I like to get a little flour on my hands just to keep the dough from sticking to me. The way I knead is I spread it apart and then I pull it together. Spread it apart and fold it together. Just keep doing that until the ball of dough is smooth and elastic. Let's test it out. Go ahead and take a piece and start spreading it in between your fingers. It should be slightly elastic, and as you spread it thinner and thinner, you'll start to see almost a lattice work in the dough itself. In a large glass bowl, pour in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to coat our ball of dough with the olive oil just to keep it from sticking to the sides as it rises. Cover it with a damp towel and let it rise for about an hour and a half in a warm space. I like to use my food dehydrator for this, but you can just leave it on your counter. Your dough should be about twice the size as when you started. Go ahead and pour it out onto your floured surface. Here's where you decide how many loaves of bread you want to end up with. You can do 2 or 4. I think I'm just going to do 2 for now. Use a knife and cut your dough in half. And then start shaping each half by gently folding the top over and tucking it under into the bottom. A lot like what I'm doing here. Your loaves will be ready once the top is smoothed over. Let's transfer the loaves onto the baking sheet. Sometimes they get a little misshapen, so let's go ahead and reshape them a little bit. There we go. Cover them with a warm, damp towel and let them rest until they doubled in size. Perfect. Now let's score our bread. Scoring, you can do really anything. All you need is just a sharp knife and let the weight of the knife do the cutting. Don't force it, otherwise you'll make them deflate. This next step is optional. Beat together 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of water, and then brush the egg mixture over your loaves. What this does is it gives it a wonderful sheen and a beautiful golden brown color. Now it's time to throw them in the oven. Bake your bread at 375 degrees for 25 minutes. And there you have it, your homemade bread. It wasn't that hard, was it? And I've always wanted to try this. Ha!